Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.
We started
Peace FM
SHS again. I mean, the audio version. Mame hunene printed version. And mainly on social media. And again, I proceed on the basis of caution. Now, as for NDC for campaign against free SHS 2012 and 2016, more pronounced in 2012, let's be honest. Or a public record. To them, I'm making adverts now no go against that whole policy. No, was funded from their camp.
Yeah, and
that is something I pray none of them come out to challenge, because you're able to prove. Nimpa no ye cashmano ya nyankwa. I am not about programming or okay. On a big deal, but again, let's be fair. Kwame,
Kweku,
a watcher, they began to shift kakra. The weight of that whole policy was such that gradually but surely they began to shift in terms of one fanatical opposition to the whole policy, one moderating the kakra, and came up with the concept. One conception was a progressively free secondary education.
Yeah.
I think the President Mahama even announced it was one of his State of Nation addresses. Mamekai, the candidate Akufo-Addo, then even Kando is welcome, at least perceptible shift. And at the end of the day, scanner or public money, you are going to apply it in some way. Remember, step by step. Kwame, it is public record there where you shift and conceptualize their shift as progressively free secondary education. We ought to admit that as a fact. ECO, Minister of Education, handing over notes, in this case, running mate, Prof. Nana Jane, Opoku Ajiman, ne handing over notes, a copy of which Namikitawahi.
Ne handing over notes?
Yes. And yeah.
And I mean, may I say a copy?
I have a copy here. Chair, indeed, all this, or then circulated all over. You might mention, but by law, by law, no way you're handing over news about the Presidential Transition Act. Into copies, what they call is it Administrator General? No, but strictly speaking, this shouldn't be a confidential document, or it shouldn't be scarce. Let me put it that way. Echo page 30, and this is trying to be factual. Kwame, there's a title be Progressively Free Secondary Education.
Progressively free?
Yes.
Okay.
The page 30. Also, the progressively free secondary education is to create access and make it easier for students to attend school and to absorb some of the cost of education. Note, some of the cost of education.
Some.
Since the inception of the policy, the following cost items per a day student, repeat, per a day student, are being absorbed by government. Now we're listing registration, examination fee, sports fees, entertainment, SRC, sports / culture, science development, then ICT / curricula. Also, in total, an amount of 12 million Ghana cedis was spent for the 2014-2015 academic year, and the amount paid for the first and second terms of the 2015 and 2016 academic year, respectively, is 12.1 million and 17.3 million. A total number of 320,488 day students, repeat, day students in public senior high schools were covered Government, however, have the intention of rolling this policy to cover boarding students in the next academic year, 2016-2017. So if you want to be fair, this is the kind of shift they did and the attempt at executing that shift in terms of the conception that they came up with. Now, before this government administration operationalized free SHS, and Kwame, there's a distinction between the two.
There is?
Yeah, there is. Today, Bimu tried to say that, what this government did was virtually the progressively free SHS, because there was
omnibus.
That is the idea. This was phased, and if you like, even the word progressive you could use in terms of the execution. Now, it called the substance. Before this government, and it was no joke, I mean. Government Yankasa were transi. Now we share all the options as to what to do relative to our manifesto promise of free SHS. Mikita document is dated 20th June 2017. It's titled Cabinet Memorandum
My birthday.
by the Honorable Maitu Opoku Prempe, Minister for Education, on the implementation of free senior high school education, free SHS. Now, they listed all the options, 3 options, main options, for Cabinet to deliberate on and decide which option to take. It's important that some of these documents, some of their communicators, party communicators and government communicators, make references to them. Mahama administration, its real nature is gradual absorption of fees.
So that was the progressive?
Yes, that is the progressive. And listen to what this cabinet memo says, and it's documented and it's based on facts. Also, implementation of this option started in the 2015-2016 academic year. Nancy the Minister Kanda will clear some outstanding bills, and they use the word free SHS. Ibimu take advantage of it, but official documentation, that is how it is captured in terms of payment lines. That is the progressively free SHS. Also, implementation of this option started in the 2015-2016 academic year under the previous government. Under this option, 12 recurrent fee items amounted to 162 Ghana cedis per annum per student was absorbed for the 320,488 day students. Mark it. 320,488 day students. Emphasis, day students. Additional proposal was made to include 120,000 boarders from deprived schools, deprived schools, with an amount of 166 Ghana cedis per annum per student. This was, however, not implemented.
Not implemented?
Yes. Now, whilst our focus was on day students for starters, and also anticipated to add boarders 120 subsequently, which wasn't done. This administration decided that, look, once we hear all the options, we hear 3 options now. First option was implementation of gradual absorption, another difficulty of SHS fees with students on day, for day students and targeted boarding students, Second option was implementation of a financial SHS support system targeted only at poor and needy students. Some of this was started during the Mahama administration with World Bank funding in the north. And then third option, implementation of a free SHS for all starting with first year students in 2017-2018.
That's
what was adopted. So you can see that
phased gradually.
Yes, and then they decided to face it. First year for ko inyedama why not in trade.
We have to go.
Remember, it's very important. You see, sometimes the more level of discussion or interrogation, I didn't say intercourse. To me, it's so noisy there. You know the fine lines of the extension, and for that matter, the policy trust. So some people will go out there. So, but here you start. Now will about continue. A deeper analysis. They are not actually continuing what you started, which indeed you do not even fully implement. There's an essentially distinct new, if you like, beginning, quote unquote, which has resulted now in a full-fledged
program.
First, second, third. This is not something you can compare to the previous one. It's a distortion. Indeed, it is propagandist. But whilst we do this analysis, then you also acknowledge, in fact, the things they did. Yes, on Minister Kokan Parliament, on also what the eco social media. It's all right, but this is the evidence that we started it. And it stops there. It's too cloudy. Go beyond the cloud, and there you see the substance.
That's right.
Okay.
I rest my case.
I thank you for resting your case.
Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.